On today's podcast, we have an adult film actress / stand-up comedian, Silvia Saige. In our episode, we talk about how porn saved her life, what a man blanket is, and showing up to open mics with remnants of male fluid still in your hair. We've all been there, right? You can check out her podcast, Sexy Funny Raw. But first, don't advertise something to me twice, okay, on my phone. Don't sell me shoes that I bought already. I bought them. I lost. You beat me. You don't need to rub it in. What do you think? I need a second pair of the same thing? You forgot, you idiots. I bought your Girl Scout cookies on the way into the grocery store. You don't get to talk to me on the way out. Okay? Stop trick-or-treating twice. At the end of my life, I like that my phone doesn't know me that well. I like that they're like, man, shoes, and then the algorithm's like, just he bought him before. Yeah, but hey, it's just so recent, boss. No, hit him again. They don't know. You guys don't know anything about me. It's because I would like to think that the people who run ads and are targeting me think that I'm being coy, but I'm just not interesting. That's all that it is. My obituary will say Hokas. He died a dad and he had no kids. That's what it will say. We just ran one ad on him one time. I thought buying it would get you guys to leave me alone. Show me new things, please. Maybe you're not making me interesting. Don't feed me what I want. Feed me what I don't want. I want to show me ads for something that I would never get. Because if I'm going to see something subliminally a bunch, that's going to be the thing that's going to get me to expand. Don't advertise directly to me. You think you know me, advertisers? You don't know me. I don't want ads for things that I already am. I'm looking to grow into a new hobby. So maybe I cross-dress one day. Maybe I will do that. But stop taking me for just what analytics tell you. Take me for what my dreams are. And I'm not saying I will cross-dress. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying that if I got different advertisements from a place that maybe.
Have you ever had a dream that you had to do so much you could do anything?
Silvia Saige, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us today in studio.
No, I love it. Thank you for having me.
We just did Kansas City together.
Yes.
And by that I mean we did comedy.
Everyone in Kansas City.
We did everyone in Kansas. It was a lot of people.
It was a lot.
I'm tired.
Yeah.
But we got through them.
Mm-hmm. As a team, really.
It really is. It's a whole team effort there. They're so sports forward. No, but seriously, everybody's still orgying since the Super Bowl. So it was crazy. That was one of the things that I noticed that I was talking about when I was there. Everybody's just in such a good mood out there, and I think it's because you got the Royals, and then you've got the Chiefs,
Super Bowl champions.
Oh, sorry.
Don't forget.
Yeah. Okay, so silly. I forgot. My current guest today hails from the Super Bowl champion city of Kansas City, Silvia Saige. Okay, and then those stadiums are actually back to back. They're they're cuddling each other, busting nuts. Right,
yeah, but they're gonna move one of them. They're gonna move the Chiefs Stadium downtown, which I think is silly. Nobody in Kansas City wants that to happen, and there's no parking down there anyway. So
wait, are they gonna build a new stadium? Is what you're saying? Yeah, of course. I didn't know if there was. I didn't know the mechanics of if you
moving
could move
a stadium.
A stadium. I don't know. I'm dumb.
Yeah.
So.
Seems like a big ask.
It does.
Yeah.
Then again, the pyramids, they were built with sticks, giant logs, giant stones rolled on logs. And I don't know how they got past the first row, but I do know that the first row was built with stones and logs.
Yeah, those top rows would be really difficult with no pulley system,
I'm sorry, what? With what system?
A pulley system.
A pulley system. Yeah, of course.
A milking system?
Yeah, I was like...
That might have been how they built them, honestly, with a milking system. That would actually make sense.
Boys, nothing like negative reinforcement to motivate the Egyptians. Listen, we're gonna get your nipples, and we're gonna no.
I feel like that's positive reinforcement. We're gonna get your nipples if you build this.
You're so that's one of the things I love about you, Silvia. You're so positive. But you actually are. There's so many things that I want to talk to you about because you have such a unique trajectory with your career history. Not just that, your mental health, the transition that you made for your mental health. You talk a lot about it on stage. First, let's just talk about your experience with Kansas City doing the road. And I want to give you some thoughts that I had. I'm gonna criticize your set. Yeah. I'm gonna say no. I'm being stupid. I'm saying I want to give you my thoughts on your thoughts on just how it was doing the show, kind of going up cold. So we didn't have a host. It was just a 2-person show in the minuscule of green rooms. Please, how was it? Tell me your experience and what you felt.
Well, first off, it was amazing to have a full room. So thank you for that, Drew. That's a big step for me. I don't sell out the way you do. So it was just nice to have a full attentive audience. But yeah, the scary part for me is I always think that your audience is way, how do I put it? Greener than I would be, a little bit more like soft.
Like cleaner, you mean? Like
yeah. And I'm a really harsh comic, and I'm a lot for people to swallow, especially in the Midwest.
Come on, guys. Do we get it? We'll be right back. All right.
We got the swallow. No, so I just think that especially there, and I do a lot of pro-sex. I kind of mock God a little bit, and I do not anti-military, but I definitely get in your face about, is the military the choice? Yeah. All things at the Midwest are very strong opinion on. Yeah. So I knew it was going to be touchy subjects going into it, but I felt that was kind of what I wanted. I wanted the challenge of bringing a subject to them that they weren't going to be happy about and still find a way to bring them back into somehow liking me before you get on stage and I ruin the atmosphere in the room. So,
well, I don't think you ruin the atmosphere, and I also don't think you come off as I don't think it's just that I don't think you come off polarizing. I think you just come off as opinionated and strong, and we talked about this in the green room. That's a hard thing to do, especially with you see a beautiful woman like you go on stage and you talk about first of all, there's so many people, not just men but people, who they don't want to listen to a female comedian. Yeah. And when you go on stage with your history, the way you look, your whole appeal, your opinion, how strong you are and opinionated you are in those, it can be hugely. But at the same time, I think it's settling because you know exactly what you are from the beginning to the end. You're not there's nothing hidden or ulterior. It's exactly the way that you are. So it's kind of like a buckle up here. It's kind of like a buckle up situation.
That's exactly how I feel especially when I go out to a cold crowd who has no idea who I am or hasn't been warmed up at all. I'm like, okay, this is what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to take this wild ride with me. And I hope by the end of it, they don't hate me. That's my goal,
Just to don't hate.
Don't hate me.
Now, and we talked about this a little bit in Kansas City, but you can rock heels on stage. That's the craziest thing. I mean, I see so many comics, female comics
it too, Drew.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Right now, I just don't want to be hated. I feel like there's a lot of female comics who they just wear just shoes, just tennies, just basic shoes. But you said something interesting, and you said that you wear them because you feel powerful. You feel powerful. You feel in control that way.
Yeah, I absolutely do. I don't know what it is about being in heels, but being dressed well in general. I'm like, all right, these people are going to listen to what I have to say. Because I feel the same way. If someone comes in a business suit, I'm like, oh, damn, are they important? And I do the same thing with my credits. I give my HBO, Showtime, and Cinemax credits. Those are my late night porno movie that I've done. But no one needs to know that because I want them to think I'm really important when I come on stage. So you at least want to hear what I have to say, Is
that your intro every time? HBO, Cinemax?
Usually.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
And I mean, I do tie into it because I talk about in my set how I used to watch late night porn and then I became late night porn, you know, so it's like a full 360.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Dreams do
Mission
come
complete.
true.
Yeah, exactly. God's wish. I mean, honestly.
So you came on stage to a full room.
Yeah.
And what else? What else was it that you were feeling? It's not often that we get to go on the road and stretch our legs.
Yeah.
Not me, because I'm so fucking so short, but people who have legs get to stretch them comedically as well,
Yeah.
where they get to, you know, have a little more time on the road to work on stuff.
Yeah. No, what I loved also is watching you and how you go from your set to crowd work back to your set, and you do it so fluidly that it like really made me want to work on my craft of like crowd work, because I've been so afraid to go into the crowd for so long because I don't want bad interactions.
Yeah.
That I was just honestly in awe, like watching you all weekend. So it was really nice to see. I mean, you are a true professional and you sell out for a reason. So it was really nice just to watch that kind of go down. And I was like, I felt like I learned a lot from you. It made me want to do more research, and, you know, like it just makes me want to work harder going out and doing stuff like that. So
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I had a great time. And then we did a theater in Columbia,
Yeah.
right? Columbia, Missouri.
Yeah.
Passed by all the Ozark billboards. And
did you love that drive? So scenic.
God, it was thrilling.
Fields,
Wow.
cows.
Yeah, and then the left side, same thing.
Yeah.
We did that, and then we got a little sellout trophy at the end of that.
No, I've never had a comedy trophy.
You were look at your face right now.
Honestly,
you're glowing.
It's
because
in my
of this.
living room. It's on like the only thing I have like no decoration. It is like right there front and center. I am so proud of it. You have no idea.
My experience was the first time I did that place. I sold it out, and they gave me a trophy, and then I posted it on Instagram. I posted it, and it's like me holding it this, and I just got a barrage of comments being, it looks like a little dick, and I'm like, all right, and
Fuck
people
off.
and people are like, it looks like a little dick. Look at that little dick.
Do you
holding
have
that
a
little dick.
trophy?
Yeah, and I was like, guys, come on, please, come on.
Yeah, they're just
I've never gotten a
jealous.
trophy. No,
Yeah.
but that's all right. So. That was really fun, and I was talking with one of the managers at the club, and she was just saying how much stronger you've gotten as a comic since the time that she's seen you, even the time from Thursday till Saturday. She was like, Thursday till Saturday. She was like, you know, she's just gotten so much more confident, and what is it that when you do a weekend like that you want to take away comedically? And first of all, how long have you been doing stand-up?
So technically I've been doing stand-up for 11 years, but I always say you're not really a comic until you get paid. So technically 7 years as a paid comic.
Sure.
But no, taking away, excuse me, what I want to take
like,
away
did you
from-
have like a goal when you go in? Because I go in with a goal every weekend, and that weekend's like, all right, I'm gonna get this bit, I'm gonna polish this thing, and I want to, and then maybe get some stuff crowd work clips wise or whatever.
Yeah, well, this was the first time I went really deep with like my childhood molestation and things like that. So that for me, like trying that out was really my goal, to see kind of how people responded to it. And surprisingly, people responded to it better than I thought they would. You know, I had a lot of females come up afterwards, be like, thank you for, you know, talking about this and doing it in a way that, you know, still makes people able to laugh at the end of it. So that for me was what I was doing, was trying to work on more serious material, because as much as I know people, especially my audience, loves hearing the porn stuff, like I want to give them a full view of who I actually am as a person and why I'm here.
I think you get that. Especially when you talk about your past with corporate life and having to
Yeah.
make that hard left turn into something else.
Yeah.
And making something like that funny is difficult, but I think you set the tone appropriately, at least for what I'm doing right now. I'm talking a lot about my injury, my stutter. I'm trying to work through all of that material so I can box it up and be done with it.
Right.
So that's on this more serious side of the stuff, and it sometimes I think there are moments in our career where something needs to feel a little more one-man showy. Like even John Mulaney's most recent special, it's honestly my favorite thing I've seen him do. And
Gotta watch that.
Yeah, it kind of bordered one-man show. I mean, it's still very joke-heavy. He's still such a great writer, but what I loved was that he had the textures of being someone who was real, who went through a real thing.
Right.
Now, what was so funny about doing the meet and greets with you, and it's unlike anything I've ever seen, is you have women who would stand in between you and their man that
And
they're
no
with
one makes eye contact.
at the meet and greet table. And then what other version of that was weird? Was there anything that was like what's atypical for, is that usual for you? It is like women who are just like, don't fucking talk to her. Don't you've had that?
100%. I even had other, not at your shows, but other shows in the past where people have been coming out and the guy will run up to me when his girlfriend's in the bathroom. He's like, I just want to tell you did a great show, but I can't say hi to you. My girlfriend will kill me. And I get a lot of that kind of stuff. And I'm like, man, you can't even I'm just a person, and the funny thing is everyone is fucking. I'm not doing anything outside of what anybody else in the world is doing. I mean, a few people are not fucking, but I'm sorry. But most of us are doing that. It's not like I'm going home and slaughtering babies at the end of the night,
Right.
So it's just so crazy to me because I've allowed people to watch me have sex. All of a sudden, they think I'm just going to be drop down and start sucking dicks, I'm like, that is not happening here. People get so they have this false fear of I'm just over sexualized all the time, I'm just going to attack their men. I'm like, I don't want your man.
Really? From Kansas City?
Yeah. Shocking.
God, dude,
I know. There hasn't been any billionaires in my audiences, and, so that's my goal, honestly. So,
a billionaire?
if you bring your billionaire husband to my show, that's a threat. I'm going to be a threat. But before then, I'm not really interested. Thank you.
I love the idea of just someone being like, I love your work. You're super good. I just can't.
Yeah.
I also get that, but with stand-up. Hey, I love you. It's super good. I don't want my, what?
They can't see me talking to you.
It's good, but she hates you. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was pretty interesting. So let's go back. Let's delve into the world of Silvia Saige from Impetus, because you started career-wise, you started. I remember you told me your story about how you got into stand-up, and then but even before that, you were doing. You were in corporate world.
Yeah, I worked in hospitals.
Yeah.
So I worked for 4 years in cardiology and then 4 years in chiropractic. And I worked front of the house, back of the house. I worked my degree was as an x-ray tech. So I kind of did everything. I did a lot of stress testing, EKGs.
You strike me as an x-ray tech. I don't know how to say that politely. I think it's polite still.
I didn't hate it, but I'm just not a good employee. I'm fantastic as a business owner, but as an employee, I was the worst person you could ever hire. And I was a great interviewer. I got hired all the time, and everyone wanted to give me a job. I looked the part, but then I'm also in the parking lot getting high, I'm coming in drunk, if I'm coming in to work, I was just not a good person.
Wow.
And it just made me, I don't know, I guess I was just probably a shitty person. I don't know that it made me shitty, but it made me dislike people working in healthcare also.
Really?
So yeah, I just wasn't in a good place between my addictions and everything else. I mean, I was struggling with a lot of suicide and stuff like that. So when I tell people that porn saved my life, I truly mean it in a way of it gave me some feeling of oh my gosh, people, like me. And so I'm trying for something. And then, the financial backing that came into it and allowed me to not worry about, day-to-day stuff that I was worrying about and being stressed out all the time. Literally, if I'm going to have a place to sleep or if I'm going to be able to eat, I struggled with all those things for so long. I was homeless for a year and a half, so porn brought me out of it, made me feel strong, made me feel secure. The other people in pornography make you especially my girlfriends, we're all building each other up all the time. And, we're all boss bitches. We all run our own very successful companies. And it just made me feel a worthy person. And for so much of my life, I struggled with any self-worth whatsoever.
I want to be a boss bitch.
Yeah.
But I can't even imagine you as a stressed out person. You feel so light to me. Every time I've spoken with you or we've hung out, you always seem just so unencumbered. You feel so it and I didn't know you before you did stand up or adult films, you know? So that's crazy.
It's funny to me that you say that because I do feel like a completely different person. And honestly, that's why I go by Silvia, which is obviously my stage name, but I go by that for everything. And I tell even my neighbors, who I don't know if they know what I do for a living other than a comic, but they call me Silvia. I prefer that because I feel like Silvia is this strong, powerful woman. And I felt like Kristen died at my last suicide attempt, you know, and she was just weak and blamed everybody else for her problems. I literally talk about myself in a third person because it doesn't feel like me. It feels like I'm talking about somebody completely different.
Well, that's healthy. I mean, if that's a person you don't want to be associated with, that's totally healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a friend who taught me that you need to have like a buddy system with yourself, and your conscience you almost need to name it. You know what I mean? Him or she or they. You need to name it and give and have them be like your champion in that way. So I think that's actually, you know, I think that's super healthy that you just kind of wash your hands of that and just like
it's
that's
done.
over there.
Yeah. And you know, it's funny when you talk about having the person, like your inner person. Yeah. My old therapist, she would tell me to talk to yourself like, well, she would say the little girl would have been your little boy, but talk to yourself like the, you know, 5-year-old kid, 6-year-old kid, like tell yourself all of the beautiful things you would tell a 5 or 6-year-old kid instead of telling yourself all the most harsh critical things that we tell ourselves on a daily basis. So that's what I do in my like journaling every day is I like talk to my little kid and I like walk her through like how we're feeling today and like how she's awesome and we're going to get through this. Like I just champion myself every day.
What is that? What is your morning like? You wake up and you do like affirmations? Is that what 100%. You do?
100%. I journal every single morning. Like I do a manifestation every morning. I work out every single morning, get a healthy breakfast. Like mornings are my time. I love to clean every morning, like a fresh reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great, man. My handwriting is atrocious. But I guess that's not the point. I guess it's just supposed to be for you to know, you know? Mm-hmm. But they say that there's something about visually seeing what you write and then seeing that come true, like something about the motion of writing or something like that. But
I write everything. I don't even do comedy on a notebook or anything like that. Every once in a while I'll make a voice memo, but I read every single word I think I'm going to say like 6 times for every one of my sets. It gets very exhausting, very hand crampy, but I need it to be written out. Like, and I need it over and over again written out. It's crazy.
Interesting.
My OCD just...
Yeah. And you're also a very cleanly person.
Yeah. I clean pretty much every day. But I have 2 cats, 2 long-haired cats, and they are just... I mean, even today they broke a wine bottle arguing over who get to sit in the window. So
I've seen videos of those two. They're hilarious.
They are.
A couple of louts.
Those
guys.
They don't really love each other, but occasionally they have these like awesome fights, and it's just like hairballs flying around. So that's my favorite.
It's sporadic outbursts.
And
it's like why? And then they just go back to.
And it's docile.
Yeah, and then it's done.
Yeah.
So you were you were a X-ray specialist, and then you were in chiropractic, and then how did you find your way into what did you find your way into first? Did you find your way into stand-up first? Did you find your way into adult films first? Like what's that? You know, how does someone? I have so many questions. How does someone go do that? You know.
So. Stand-up was first for me, and it was kind of on accident. I had a buddy who was doing a bunch of open mics, and I would just go with him, and you know, I'd always be like, oh, it's so cool that you can do this. Like I would always tell him like I could never, like I'd never have the balls to get up there and do it. And he was like, yeah, you could. And then one night he just threw my name into a hat. I had no material, nothing prepared, and they called my name, and he was like, just do it. There was like 10 people in the bar. It didn't matter anyway, you know? So I just went up and rattled, and for whatever reason, everyone
rattled?
liked it. And
Rattled sounds like it went so good. I rattled.
It felt good. You know that adrenaline. I mean, there's a just adrenaline rush that comes with like having a good set. And I'm sure it wasn't a
Never
good
had
set.
one. I don't know what to tell you. It's like you lost me.
I'm sure it
Feels
wasn't
like you lost
good.
My audience too. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
It felt good at the time, and I was like, I got to do this.
She's bragging now. This is crazy.
I was sold, and I was like, this is what I got to do. And then I quit medicine very quickly thereafter, and I went back to bartending so I could like do comedy.
I also quit medicine. My doctor said I should get back on. That's cool. That's a cool thing though, that you had a good set your first time.
Yeah, who knows how good it actually was, but
sure.
it felt good. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Sure, I said nothing of any substance.
Do you remember what you talked about?
Not even in the slightest. Yeah, no idea.
Okay. Because so many people talk like, and then what was addicting about it to you? Like, I mean, there's addicting. It's immediate validation.
The validation.
Yeah. It has to be what it is.
I lacked so much validation in childhood. Like I was always screaming for attention because my brother was good at everything. I mean, he was number one tenor in the state of Missouri all 4 years of his high school. Like he was drum major. Like he was great at all the sports. I was good at absolutely nothing. I was in band, couldn't read sheet music. Just they let me be there because my brother was like the star of the show. And he was always the star of all the plays, and I'd make a background dancer. Like I was just always in his shadow, and he was always like the number one shining star.
Yeah.
And so like the moment anybody was like, that was awesome to me, I was like, oh, okay, you like it? I will do it again.
It feels bad because he I watch his porn and like I didn't know. I'll stop now, but seriously, like he's great at that too.
He's great. He's good at all the things.
Brandon, no, what's his name?
Greg.
Oh, Greg. You have a Greg? Your brother. That's amazing. Do you have a good relationship with your brother?
We do. Okay. We have a great relationship now. We've pretty much had a good relationship our whole life. I think there was like a few years where, you want to kind of murder each other. I chase him around with a butcher knife, those like the normal
sibling stuff.
Yeah, sibling stuff.
Yeah, butcher stuff.
Yeah.
So how do you get into adult film? Yeah. What's the, I would love to hear this.
So it's real simple, actually. I was moving, I had saved up money to move to LA. I knew I was going to come out and do comedy, and But
the first time that you did comedy was in Kansas City.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. For a couple years at that point. And so
gotcha.
I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. Like, I'm going to make the move. And I had saved up, I think I had $14,000 or 16, something like that. Enough to pay my lease.
She does not relent with these brags. It's
yes, so much cash. But it was enough
She's
to pay
so
my
liquid.
lease. I had only a 6-month lease. So that was enough to cover my lease. And I was like, I'm just going to figure it out. I didn't have a job or anything. I was like, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to figure something out.
That's how a lot of moves have to go. You just have to be like, I'm just going to, I just have to get there.
But unfortunately for me, like 2 days before I left Kansas City, I got a DUI. So,
no.
Like all of my money went to keeping myself out of jail and hiring a lawyer and all that kind of bullshit. So when I got to LA, because I had to go, I mean, my apartment in Kansas City was up and I had an apartment in LA, so I was moving.
Yeah.
And I had no money, and I got 2 different jobs when I got to LA pretty quick. I got a job working for a construction company during the day, and then I was bartending at night, but I wasn't doing any comedy, not ever. I didn't touch a microphone for the first 4 months I was here, 3 months probably. And then my girlfriend from Kansas City, who's still my best friend, called me up and she was like, hey, I'm going to come do porn. She was like, do you mind if I stay with you? And I was like, girl, I had nothing. I didn't even have furniture. My bed was towels on my floor because I could not afford anything. So I was like, come on out, just help me with rent. So her and I, in my little studio apartment, and she started doing porn, and she made $10,000 her first week. And I was like, I gotta do some fucking porn.
Wow.
Yeah. I was like, if I just my initial goal was make 4 movies a month, and that way you can pay your bills, and then you can still do comedy at night. And then porn just was a whirlwind for me right away. And I was shooting 20 movies a month, and it just got to be a lot. And I was going straight from set to mics at night, and like I would often come with cum in my hair. Like it was like, yeah. So it was always a part of my bit of like, you know, my hair's up in a bun because there's cum in it or something like that, you know, like whatever.
Really?
Yeah, but
That's amazing.
For years, that was like the hustle, and I was just work, and then thank fucking God, OnlyFans came out a few years ago and saved my life.
Yeah.
Now I don't have to work
Yeah.
nearly as often. I just fiddle it from home and make 5 times the cash.
The amount of comics I see show up at a mic with cum in their hair,
Yeah.
and they don't even do the stuff you do. I'm like, this is. They're like, yeah, it's mine.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah. Dude, it's like I was watching Silvia before the mic,
Right.
so things just get crazy. So now, yeah, and now how is it that? Okay, so that's so interesting that you had friends that helped you get into both of these vocations. I mean, you did all the work that you did.
Yeah.
But I just mean for both of those. I mean,
Yes,
to your
yeah.
credit. I'm just saying, but it's interesting how you had the influence of a friend being like,
Yeah.
you know, and for both, you know.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It was never because I never thought I was funny. And I still don't think I'm funny in general conversation. I think I put a lot of effort into writing because I don't think I'm generally funny. I don't think, and as a rule, I'm funny. I think I'm obnoxious and loud. And so that gets a lot of attention.
That's usually funny, right? There's a lot of Philly comics.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. Just so you know.
Really?
Oh yeah, I feel the exact same way.
Yeah.
When I'm around a group of comics, when I'm around a friend, when I'm
Yeah.
around, you know, they're usually like when I hang out with Isaac, when I hang out, like there's so many friends of mine who I think they're just so funny, and
Yeah.
I usually refrain from conversation. I usually kind of I'm very deferential when it comes to my friends, which is interesting because I think when I'm on stage it's the opposite. I think I'm very like all right, this is my time. This is my preferred medium of communication. You're not really saying much.
Yeah.
I'm saying so many things.
Yeah.
And you're enjoying what I'm saying. I love that.
I feel like you just got very like, even the voice, you were just going very methodical with that. You're like, this is what I'm saying, and you're going to like it.
It did feel very hypnotic.
Yes,
didn't it?
that's the word I wanted, hypnotic.
Yeah, those are my mantras in the
Yeah.
morning. This is how it's going to go.
They're going to love you.
Here, and here. You're going to love me. Here, you're not going to like me so much.
Yeah.
And I planned for that.
Yeah.
But then, you're going to like me again.
Yeah. I hope. That's always the plan. Yeah.
And there's just some level of control that stand-up gives me, and I think we're all kind of in it for different forms of validation.
Yeah.
It's more than just attention. It's not just attention because, like you could feel deprived of that and depraved for years from it, but there has to be some sort of deep-seated reason, I think, that you're getting that validation. I mean, and for me, it's, you know, it can get more specific in that attention. For me, like I feel talked over all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't feel like people are as good a listener. They're not good. People aren't good listeners, and I fault that. I fault them for that, basically, because I feel like I dedicate so much of my listening to whenever someone's talking. And so stand up for me, especially when it's a dark room, and it's spotlit, I'm getting different. It's different now. Like when we did KC, I had some lights up a little bit, but it used to just be, I needed to be completely dark just so I can just say my piece. So
Really?
I can just feel, yeah. I needed to be completely, I didn't want to see anybody.
Wow.
I just needed it to be, so I could just say the thing that I wanted to say. I didn't want to get distracted. I didn't want to, feel like I didn't want to engender a different communication from somewhere else, basically,
Right.
because it was exhausting throughout the day to have people just talk over me and then ask me a question and then answer it and then ask a thing and then they'll figure it out, and then it's just, so there's a certain level of resentment and that validation that I get from you just not hearing anything that you're saying other than just the laughter. That's something that for me, it really helped. Now it's different, but at that time, that was something that I needed.
Were you not doing crowd work back then?
No.
Okay.
No, I wasn't doing crowd work. I only started doing crowd work in 2018. I started doing crowd work in 2018 because I was submitting for Comedy Central. I actually, it was at the St. Louis, it was in St. Louis, actually. I was submitting for Comedy Central, and they were like, you just need to submit a half hour. And I couldn't get through my set without someone interrupting. And sometimes the heckling, in 2018, sometimes it was people who were just like ultra fans and they're like, fuck yeah, you know.
Yeah.
And then sometimes people are just drunk and they're idiots. And then sometimes, a very, very, very small percentage of times, it was people who were just trying to be mean or trying to be, with different intentions. And that was when I got so fed up by I got through the whole weekend and I couldn't get through a full half hour of just my material.
Oh, damn.
So I got so fed up that something in my brain just switched where I was just like, we're not. I became almost like a mom where I was like, no, but like we're not gonna talk about any of that. Let's do what you want to do. Let's do exactly what you know. I just became very like, no, this is what you want. Let's say your piece. Let's see how interesting you are.
Yeah.
Why don't you, there's some sort of psychological flip where it's just like, all right, I'm done being nice now. I was super nice. You walked way over me. Now you prove it to me why it is that you deserve to be talking right now. And now my stand-up is, my crowd work is, how do I say this? It is something that was born from a defense mechanism, so I have a much healthier relationship with it now than I once did.
Yeah.
Because I always thought, even in person, I would hear things from people or I would see facial expressions and I would always interpret it as with something with malice. And so it's so frustrating to see that someone's saying something and you want to respond and you have the best thing to say. It's the absolute best thing. And you just can't say it, you know?
Yeah.
So it almost just became a defense mechanism. And it actually helps sometimes with stuttering. It's like, it gets you way out of your head. It just gets you into your heart. It gets you into like, these are feelings that are right here and I need you to hear them. And I'm swearing a lot at you, but I mean every word, you know? So it's just, anger does not translate well into comedy, but it is an amazing motivator. Sadness is not. I would much rather be angry than sad because angry is active. Sad is complacent.
See, that's interesting because angry for me is sad. Like the moment I turn angry, I also cry. That's why crowd work scared me so much, is because I didn't want anything negative to go down, because I will immediately go into emotion and I have I will cry on stage. I have walked off of a stage because a heckler was mean to me before.
Really?
Yeah. And now, granted, it was in a strip club. So, I mean, I'm not like, it wasn't like, it was a huge show. Yeah. It was in a strip club and they weren't really expecting comedy per se, but the guy was just a total dick to me in the audience, and I couldn't handle it. And I started crying, and I had to walk off stage because I was like, I just get so emotional. And like I said, angry for me is sad. So those two emotions like go together. I cannot be angry without crying. It's so weird.
I think when I think when you watch a comic get angry, it does get sad for the viewer.
Yeah.
But it's interesting how from the performer, you're also saying that you're sad.
Yeah.
Huh.
I can't stand to watch comics turn on an audience. It's the hardest thing in the world for me to watch. Like,
you have to sit in it though.
Yeah.
You have to sit in it and learn what not to do.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done it. I've done it. I wouldn't say many times, but I did it. The times that I did it. Like, I wouldn't say it was like, it wasn't. Yeah, it was more the shotgun, less Uzi approach.
Just singular.
Yeah, just kind of, wow, that's, bazooka style.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Grenades to the audience.
Yeah.
Fuck you
So,
guys.
like, I rarely now say the C word. I can't imagine, like, I don't, it's weird. I'm even saying it's the C word.
I know.
Right
I was
now,
like,
so
what do I
sorry.
know what the C word is? Do I know?
Yeah, it's cunt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
good. Can we say that?
Okay.
Ugh, I feel, God. Anyway, so what, is that wrong? Is that wrong, Isaac?
I wouldn't say it again.
Wait, really?
Yeah, you just have to take the clean rating off.
Bleep it.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, the C word.
Interesting. All right,
Yeah.
the C word.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I
Cutlery.
it's weird. I did yeah. It's so weird. I saw Isaac shake his head and make a note. I was like, oh no, freedom of speech. And that's why I don't say it, that word. It upsets people. But I said it one time at the Mall of America. There's a comedy club there. It wasn't just at the Mall of America. It was like at Auntie Anne's, and I was like, you put drizzle on my cinnamon pretzel. No. So I called her a C word, and
it was a lady.
yeah,
Yikes.
it was. Yeah,
Would have been better if it were a man.
It would have.
Yeah.
But she did a very C word thing, which is she was perpendicular. She was in the front row, and her body was perpendicular to me.
What?
So does that make sense? So if you're facing me right now,
Yeah.
okay, her body's like this,
Yeah.
facing her friend. She would not.
Even look at you.
She wouldn't even look. But here's the thing. That's fine. I'm okay with that. If you're auditory, whatever. If I'm a fucking audiobook for you, if I'm Audibles, whatever. But she would talk to her friend, and it was just loud enough that I hear it.
Mm-hmm.
But not like talk like about like, oh, what'd you get to eat? No. Like, what's going on with Susan at work? Like crazy things where I was like, this feels
Do you know
intentional.
you're at a show?
Yeah. It just feels intentional. There's no other way. I don't. You have to be. You have to be so far into social ineptitude to be able to do that. I mean, and so it's just, and so she talked to her friend many times just throughout the show about certain things, and then.
And she's in the front row?
Front row.
Ugh.
And she never looked at me. She never laughed at anything that I said. And it's like, I'm okay. I'm okay. You sit in the front and you don't laugh at something I say, fine. Maybe you were brought by somebody. Maybe you're I'm not I'm not your thing. It's unfortunate that you're in the front. It's unfortunate that I have to stare at you and that other people around you have to stare at you for you not enjoying your time. But I get it. That's fine. But to when it goes from inactive to active, where you're actively doing something else of opposite reaction or opposite intention, then it became different. And so at the end, I got all the way to the end of the show, and I said, after the show, I'm going to hang out in the lobby. If you guys want to come hang out, I do the same thing that I said. If you want to come hang out, this is back when I had Stella, and I said my dog and I will be hanging out there for photos. And that's when she turns and goes, "Oh my God, you have a dog?"
Oh my God.
And
it's the first thing you've heard all night?
Yeah. Oh my God, can we pet? And that was when I was just like, you stupid. And then I went like red in the face, angry at her. I was like,
oh no.
I'm
surprised you made it through the show though. That's impressive.
I guess, yeah. I mean, I guess that was my way of just being like, just so you know, you were an asshole. Yeah, you were a real asshole this whole time. So, but like just a little bit north of the asshole. It's kind of like the equator. Like you follow it around, or fuck the prime meridian. So anyway, enough about. Well, I don't want to say, just north of the equator. And be like, actually, it goes east to west, the equator does, if you didn't know that. It's, if you bring up the world into 4 quadrants, I'm talking about my wife. Mel is going to be the one who listens to this. She's like, actually, did you not know that it's in 4 quadrants? And there's different quadrants wherein, like, in South Africa, it's cold right now. And you're like, okay, please, I can't deal with this. Anyway, so that enough about me. I want to hear about, what OnlyFans did for you. And a lot of this, a lot of why we do this pod is I want to know a time where you bet on yourself, you doubled down on yourself, and it paid off or it backfired. I have a feeling you'll probably tell me a time where it paid off because you're such a positive person, but also it's cool to hear when sometimes it backfires. And maybe OnlyFans was that big payoff for you. Maybe it was something else. But I love hearing stories where it goes. It has such a dramatic and exponential reaction in one of those two directions.
Yeah, honestly, for me, OnlyFans in the beginning wasn't a big thing for me. I was just kind of doing it. I was making a couple $100, a week, and it was just like an extra little side thing. But I was still shooting for companies all the time.
So you had partners with the OnlyFans content you were doing.
Yes and no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, and then sometimes you do. Mine is I'd say 90% solo stuff. Like a big, almost everything I do is solo. And then occasionally, like, I'll bring in somebody once a month or maybe twice a month to like shoot some other stuff to like kind of get their fans. And
You talk about it like it's a
up.
cleaning lady. You're like once a month I'll get it done. Like get my car detailed. It's
That's
like,
exactly what it feels like. Yeah.
It does feel tiring to you hearing it. I'm like, she's tired. The once a month is a lot. Maybe we go bi-monthly.
No, when I was shooting for companies, even before OnlyFans, when OnlyFans was kind of newer, I was still shooting 10, 15 movies a month. So it's exhausting. And I was doing so many shows. Like, it was just a constant like rundownness is how I always felt. But with OnlyFans, I got lucky because I was asked to do a documentary for Hulu.
Yeah.
And that got me so much notoriety, put me in front of so many people.
Yeah.
I mean, I talk about it on stage where it like quadrupled. My money literally almost overnight quadrupled from what I was making. And it completely changed my life. I know I work for studios maybe once a month now, if I work for them at all.
Wow. And
that's just to kind of remind people I still work in adult, but I know everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I still know everybody, so I still shoot with everybody because we're all friends. So, I mean, I've been in the industry for 9 years now.
Wow.
So.
What's the longest, like, what's the, not the longest, and this is so funny, I haven't finished the question, so this could go anywhere. What's the longest... What do you think I'm going to ask? I was going to say, what's the average, this could be the same, duration, there we go, of a movie? Yeah.
So for what is like the clips that people will see on Pornhub, like that 30-minute clip or whatever, that usually takes anywhere from like 4 hours. That's on a short end to 14 hours.
But like, I mean,
a long day.
I mean, yeah, that's a long day, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. But I mean, like when it's cut, when it's in post, what's the average time of like porn movie?
So that's different. So
I'm not a big porn guy. Teach me about naked.
Well, that's
people
just the thing
sex.
is not all porn movies are movies. So when I say that, so like
some of them are documentaries.
Yeah.
It's just a dude
a
standing
close
in the
look.
corner.
Yeah, it's stepmoms.
Like,
Yeah.
This is where we make love.
Well, some of them are like feature films. So like when I work for like say Sweet Sinner, they do feature movies. So in their movies, there's usually like 4 or 5 sex scenes. I'm not usually in all of them. I'm usually either in 1 or 2 of them, unless it's a feature about me, and then I'm in every sex scene. So those movies are full-length movies. Those are 2-hour movies that you can like watch the full thing. Now those are days to film. You usually film those in several days.
Yeah.
But most of like the clips that you see were just like, you know, oh, I caught my stepson doing whatever, that scene, that's 30 minutes. But that still takes an 8-hour day to film that. So yeah.
Are the storylines pretty repetitive?
Oh, the same things all the time. But I do love, that's why I like working for Sweet Sinner or Bellesa, because they're female-run companies.
Oh,
so
nice.
usually their submissions are written by females who have submitted something in, or they're their
nice.
female writers themselves. So those have like really good storylines, and I love doing those because I like the acting portion. I never got into porn because I'm like, I love sex. I got into porn because I needed money.
Yeah.
You know? So, and I fell in love with it. I'm not like taking away what it is. I did fall in love with it, but it's not why I got into it, you know? So,
Right.
and I don't even think I'm good at it. I still watch my movies from time to time. Like,
you watch your movies?
Occasionally, just to see like what I compare to other people.
What can I do better?
Exactly.
Yeah. She's listening for tags. She's
Yeah.
like, maybe I go yes rather than F yes,
But I do realize I'm like, I'm not good at this. I watch other people's porn and I'm like, they're so good. They're moving their body in such a sexy way. And I'm like, I don't feel like I do anything sexy.
Wait, hang on. What makes you, hang on, this is so funny to me. What makes someone who's good at porn? What does that?
Because I have no rhythm. So I watch these girls that have rhythm and they look so good when they're having sex. And meanwhile, I'm just like doing squats on somebody's lap, you know, like it doesn't have the same fluidness. Like you gotta have rhythm for sex. And I don't. Like I'm like a 2-beat off, you know, like all of the time. It's real uncomfortable.
You're the jazz of porn. People, you don't get it. She's not in the key. We don't need a key, okay? She's not in the bedroom. You're like, what?
Yeah. And you know what's so fucked up is I've had so many porn producers be like, you look so good in your clothes. Like, you wear your clothes really well. And I'm like, that's really insulting because you people see me naked also. And no one's like, you look so good naked. So, like, honestly, I just think the acting portion is my portion. Like, that's where I really sell it. That's the point where I shine. Then the moment we get naked and I'm in sex, that's where things go.
You need a stunt double.
All right. Yeah. I don't even know how I have fans, if I'm being honest. Like, I think it's just because I don't go away. Like, I just won't leave porn. And they're like, she must be good. She's been here for 9 years. And I'm like, I have nowhere else to go. Like, this is.
Hey, they say like 90% of it's just showing up.
Yeah. Honestly, it truly, truly is.
That's crazy. Well, no, I don't. You probably, like, again, I can't. We have nothing to talk about because I've never seen anything you've done. I've only seen your stand-up.
Well, I'm telling you,
myself.
It's pretty spot on to what I'm giving you. So.
But maybe I was like, maybe Sylvia's just being really hard on herself.
No. I watched one of my very first movies the other day, and it was so bad that they had to dub in my moaning. Like, I wasn't making
Wait,
enough
was it you
noise.
moaning?
Yeah.
You had to go into studio.
No. They used the little moans that I did do in the movie, and they just put them in places where I wasn't moaning, and it's so bad. It's like a bad dubbing. It's like watching like Chinese into American because I'm not making, my mouth isn't
Your
moving,
mouth
but
is
it's
not
going,
moving.
yeah.
You're like,
So
no, that's
bad.
That's just like someone else. Some other body part on her is talking right
It
now.
was painful to watch. And then I was like, that's why I was like, maybe I'll watch some of my newer stuff, like see if I've gotten better. And I was like, I went to a movie I thought I gave a really good performance on. And I watched it and I was like, no, I'm just not good at this. It's the rhythm. It's the lack thereof is really what it is. I thank God I have a good personality. I think that's why people like me.
It would be so funny if your rhythm also applied to hand jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. You like this?
Oh.
You like this?
Oh, I'm over here.
I did have to learn so much, though. I'm not even kidding.
Wait, how did you learn?
You watch other people do it.
Oh, okay.
You're
Okay.
watching what other like professionals are doing, and you're like, oh, okay, turn the hand. I got it. Okay. It's hard. It's harder than you think to do it well, you know. I don't even know if I'm doing it well because I'm with other paid actors. So it's not like somebody was like, you were really good in bed. Like,
Yeah.
we're all acting.
They're
we
all
all
acting.
like, yeah, it feels great. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's fascinating.
That's why when people are like, oh, you know, I'm like, aren't men like intimidated to be with you? I'm like, I don't know why. Like, it's not, I'm not doing amazing things. That's all I'm saying.
Now,
I kind of just lay there. And occasionally I got to get on top and do my weird squats over somebody.
I feel like if you, Mel, and I were ever to go dancing, I would be like, oh, she's really bad at porn. She is so bad at porn.
You would think that, and it would be accurate. I just won't go away. That's the.
There has to be that you almost carved out your own niche. Is that she's so bad. I don't buy this at all. Look how bad the production is. She's doing an accent right now.
Actually, I have done accents in porn, and throughout the whole movie too. Yeah, it's so fun. People think that porn sets are so uncomfortable. They're the funnest places to
Are
be.
they?
It's so fun. I love it.
I would be so uncomfortable. I would be by Crafty. Every time someone talked to me, I would continue to talk about Crafty. I'd be like, that's crazy. They have peanut and regular. Isn't that cool?
Did you want a banana or it's too phallic? No, no bananas.
Yeah,
no
I would talk only oval shaped, not even just fucking unidentified shaped things. Man, Nutri-Grain bars, that's rectangular. Isn't that cool? They fall apart when you open the package, though. That's silly.
They are really annoying. Those crunchy ones,
Yeah.
I love them, but you can't eat them indoors at all.
No.
Yeah, it's an
Just
outdoor snack.
Getting crumbs in the puss. Oh, damn it. You got crumbs in the puss again. Wait, no Nutri-Grain. No Nutri-Grain. Yeah, dude.
I feel like, Mel, you've had grain. I feel like you've had like oats in your vagina at some point. I feel like this is a thing that you've done.
How are you nailing this, Sylvia? God. You know what I mean? 2 meals in one? Come on. All right.
Delicious.
Isaac is just writing explicit. He's holding up explicit.
I'm so sorry.
No. Wait, hey, it has to go here. It has to. What would we be, psychopaths and be like, let's talk about your corporate life. So C7 to C8, was that crack fun? Tell me about X-rays.
You know cervical. Like,
Yes,
look
I
at
do.
you. Yeah.
God, I'm such a nerd. But yeah, I would literally be talking to Crafty anytime someone came over. Wait, do people walk around naked?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. Is
And the thing is too is like everyone is so comfortable with the nakedness. Like I tell people all the time, the director will be giving us like he'll tell us what we're about to like do. Like he's like, okay, I need 15 more minutes of this. While our male talent is just stroking and he's just making eye contact and we're just walking through what's about to happen because he can't let it go down. So, you know, it's just like, but that's the set. Like, and it's everybody being like, do you need any more lube? And so everybody's just like standing there lubing up, you know, it's like we're like getting ready to go into the next thing, getting a water break, you know, it's just, it's hysterical. Like porn sets are comedy all in their own.
I mean, that's why like you doing both like is got to be just fantastic. And I've told you this, like you've like carved out just such this specific niche for yourself by being able to do that. But I mean, and it's like you're the only person I've heard talk about porn where it's not hack, and that's because you're in it.
Yeah.
Anytime,
thank
you know what I mean? Like anytime you hear a comic go on stage and like, so I'm like, oh my God, what fucking clever take do they have? But I know why, Isaac, you have your flashlight on, my guy. That's
Thought
all right.
we were getting the light.
Yeah, I
Wrap
did.
it up.
We really did. I was like,
We
damn,
got
that
5
hurts.
minutes.
We just got into the fun stuff. I understand why comics' brains go there. It's because it is such a rich area, but it's just so overdone and not done in a way that I think is like I've very rarely heard like, oh, this is a porn joke where I'm so excited to hear it.
Right.
But hearing about your unique experience or really your personal relationship to it is I think the thing that sets you apart. I mean, is the director clothed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, sometimes?
Yeah, most of the time. Yeah. I mean, sometimes he might be in it. A lot of times the director is a part of the movie. Like, honestly, you would be surprised. It happens.
Okay,
it happens
I
a
like
lot more.
this angle.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Oh, fuck, let me slate.
The amount of GoPros on somebody's head, it's,
Tommy T's coming to you. I'm repped at CAA. It's just fucking slating.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, wow. Okay. Now, oh man, I always say this. I always go now to just reset it, just so you know I'm serious about this next question. Are there ever times where you're having such a great time in a scene where it's like, this is not, I mean, she's a good actor, but this is like really fun times.
So you mean like, am I really into it? 'Cause
Yeah.
When I think of fun, I'm like, oh, we're all having
Yeah.
We're all
Sorry.
laughing
That's
on
what I
set
mean.
and
No, I
having
just
a
mean,
great time.
have you ever been with a partner where you're like, oh, I'm really into this?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
definitely have. And you have like more, you have connections with certain people, like, so I mentioned Bellessa earlier, that's written by women. So a big part of Bellessa is it's the woman's choice and she gets to pick her scene partner. So it's someone you either love working with or have always wanted to work with. And then the scene is, because a lot of porn is, it's all for camera angles and everything like that. So it's a lot of opening up and it's a lot of uncomfortable positions. But Bellessa, they don't do any of that. They just tell you to just have passionate sex with this person. You can kiss them. We call it man blanketing because that's usually a no-no in porn where the man is on just missionary in general. Oh. So usually in porn and missionary, the guy's upright, her leg is open, his arm is back, so you can see all this stuff. And so they never want you to man blanket where the man is just on top of you having sex with you.
That's all I do.
Yeah.
I just man blanket. That's my one move.
But it's hot.
That's what I call it too. In midair, I get stiff and I just man blanket. It's very sad.
But it's actual sex.
And Mel's not even there either. It's just man blanket, and then I fall on my kickstand. It's not. I fall on my boner, and it's really. It's like falling. It's like roulette. It's just like which angle. Luckily, I'm a little right leaning, I think, so it goes there every time. But dude, is it left leaning? Thank you, Mel. I'm a little left
Other
leaning.
side.
Oh, her right. My bad. Whatever. So, but anyway, man blanketing, that's so funny. And now that you say that, anytime I've seen a porn, the dude is like,
yes. because you have to make it to where the camera can see everything.
Yeah.
But in Blessa, in those movies where they allow you to actually have sex, and also in porn, a woman isn't necessarily allowed to do the riding position, which is the best for females, usually to get ourselves off. You're not allowed to do that because it doesn't show anything. So when you're on top, you usually just have to bounce. But in those movies, you actually get to enjoy sex, and it's with a partner you are lustful after. So those movies, I'm like, I love working in those. I actually am having orgasms. But for the most part, most of porn is so wildly uncomfortable that there's just not a lot of enjoyment to be had.
It's uncomfortable for me too, and my parents. I'm like, why are you here?
In this movie, this one?
I just meant watching, but that's really funny that you went there. I did a porn flick with my actual parents. Ugh. Hey, I'm blinking here, Isaac. I don't know if that matters.
Yeah, it matters.
Okay, just wanted to. I like to help our producer to help me.
Yeah.
Wait, Mel, are we waiting for you? Oh, she's
Wow,
got.
that
she's
was
got a
so
battery.
fast.
Yeah, dude, she's on it. I'll wait till Isaac
It's like you were
changes that.
prepared
You're on the wide.
for that.
Oh, we're on the wide. Keep going. Sweet. I would love to. This is a big deal that your feet are.
Mel
are here
said
as
that when
well.
I walked
Like this is like
in.
we have an appearance by. We have 3 guests here today, guys. Seriously, 3.
Don't look too. I have like a callus on my toe right now, so don't look at that.
People pay extra for
I
calluses.
could probably
heard.
shave it off and sell it to somebody, honestly. They'd chew on it at night.
Oh God.
I should start saving toenail clippings. You just made me think of that. It's a new project.
Here to help.
Yeah.
I'm just business minded. You know?
Yeah.
I'm a luminary. So why when because I had other questions about this.
Yeah.
You once told me that something that you think is a strong asset to you when you do these films is that you can find beauty in everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's just such a cool. I mean, that's so lucky because there has to be other people in your industry who are like completely just grossed out by what they do all the time, or am I wrong? I mean, are there people who are like, yeah?
Well, the unfortunate part of that, and I do say unfortunate because, especially in porn nowadays, there isn't a lot of. I don't have sex with a lot of people who are my age. It's very rare and few and far between. I'm normally having sex with someone significantly younger than me, and it's the same in.
Oh yeah, because you're MILF of the month. We didn't even talk about that. Sylvia's MILF of the month. Everybody.
Thank you.
Yes.
April, not anymore.
Well,
It's past.
but either way, you're MILF of many months.
But so a lot of times the young girls are having sex with these really old guys, and I feel bad for them because I'm like, they can't really be enjoying that. And maybe they are in some cases, but
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of times they're put in like a rougher position.
Yeah.
With me, I'm being put with, some 25-year-old kid who's like rock hard solid and can fuck for 19 hours, So
Wow.
it's a different situation for me than
Good
it
for
is
that
for a lot
kid.
of these girls. But even because I was never into women before I got into adults, so I had to find different ways to find attraction with people, and I can quite literally just look into their eyes and like see their soul and like try and connect to them that way.
That's because you got those husky eyes. It's
Yeah.
not fair. You're a cyborg.
it
You're
is,
not,
really.
Yeah, it's mutant-esque. She's got 2 different colored
Yeah.
eyes. Actually 3. One is like 2, but
One is
but-
completely
but
brown. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But how about with dating? Is that hard to? It's got to be, right? Like, yeah.
I don't, because for me, it sucks because I am not necessarily, I can't be monogamous because of my job.
Yeah.
But I would want my partner to be monogamous simply because of testing and STIs and
Yeah.
things of that, because I have to be so clean for work. And honestly, it just would be hard to balance them getting tested and me getting tested and my partner's getting tested, and I don't want to bring anything back to them. So for me, it's more, I don't want to put anybody else at risk, and I don't want to put myself at any more risk taking on a partner who doesn't really understand like that this is my job. And I get it. It's really hard to explain to someone, I'm going to go have sex with someone else, but I still love you, and don't
Yeah, I
be
think that's-
intimidated by that.
I think that's impossible to explain.
Yeah.
She's like, it is kind of difficult. What are you talking about? Hey, going to work, going to have sex. So just like 3
See
dudes.
you later.
It's like 3 dudes, perfect dicks.
Yeah.
Different colors. We have the different emojis.
Yeah.
my God, sorry. So we'll see you at 5?
Yeah.
You do pasta tonight? Ooh, Chinese. I'll see you.
Yeah, no sex for the next week though. So,
Yeah. Hey.
So, I mean, I have dated men, and I've dated men that are kind of turned on, and I think you kind of have to find that person that's turned on by knowing that you're going to work to have sex, and they're like, oh, that's kind of hot, you know. So I've dated men who have felt that way, and I've dated men who are like, you know, especially now in my career where I don't really have sex with other people all that often, so they're like, as long as I know what's going on and you're giving me a heads up, I can deal with that. But for me personally, I think it's just such a hard place to be that I don't necessarily feel it's fair to date somebody until I'm done shooting with other people.
Yeah.
You know?
Wow.
Or if they can accept me just doing girl, because I'm not really into women, you know? So maybe they accept that more as work, but.
Yeah, of course. I mean, either way, but I can understand how, like, tremendously challenged and difficult that would be.
Yeah. And not to mention the outside stigma. So even if they are okay with it, then they're going to have to answer to their friends and possibly even their family at some point. So, I mean, even one of my very best guy friends I've dated, you know, several times throughout the years. We've been best friends for the entire 10 years I've lived out here. But even he is like, I don't think I could ever introduce you to my parents. And I get it, you know, like I make a joke about like, I only date people whose parents are dead. That way there's less explanation. But I kind of feel that way. I feel like that's easier for me because you don't have to, you know, like, oh my God, what are my family going to think about me dating this porn star? You know, because there is such a social stigma around all of it.
When you would do scenes back when you were working a lot more and then you were dating someone, would it be that much more difficult to try and be like intimate with that person? No, you were able to compartmentalize that pretty well.
Yeah, because like I mentioned earlier, like most of the time porn is wildly uncomfortable to shoot, you know, so it's
a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, man. And so sex for me in my personal life is wildly different, and there's just so much more intimacy, and I love kissing.
Man-blanketing the whole time.
Yeah, man-blanketing. I can just lay there. I don't have to do anything. I don't have to teach anybody things. Yeah. So I don't have to say stepmom 3 times before we start the sex, which is a real rule in porn, by the way.
What?
You have to say stepmom a certain number of times before the sex can begin. You have to establish step parent so many times before the sex can happen.
What?
Yeah, and they'll count them.
Mel, I'm going to start doing that with you. I'm going to start going husband, alpha male, dominant. One singular being of human man Musk.
They even will go back and count if you haven't said it enough times, and they'll be like, all right, before we guys start the sex, make sure you say, one of the two of us has to say stepmom or stepson or however it works out, but you have to say it a certain number of times. Yeah, like Beetlejuice. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, if you say it in the mirror a few times too, she appears.
Yeah.
That,
Do you know I couldn't look in mirrors at night for probably until the like last year of my life because of Bloody Mary? That thing scared the life out of me.
Yeah, that was freaky, dude.
Couldn't look at mirrors at night at all.
Couldn't look at mirrors ever because it was my neighbor's window. Do you there was another question that I had about being. Have you ever dated someone who was in
the industry?
Who's in the industry?
I've tried.
Yeah, really, and it's difficult.
It's difficult because then we both have schedules to worry about, and then it's like, I mean, recently I was trying to date somebody in the industry, and exactly what had happened to us was we had planned a date night where it was the two of us, and we both like had no work the next day or whatever, so we would be able to hook up and be intimate. And then as we were like heading to dinner, he got a text from a scene partner, and now it turned out to be a false positive, but they had told her she had chlamydia. And so we're on the way to dinner, and he was like, I'm so sorry. He was like, this girl just texted me and she popped for chlamydia. He was like, we couldn't even kiss. So it was just like sucked. We like sat across from each other at dinner, and I'm like, after dinner, I was like, I'm going to drop you off because it's uncomfortable for me because I want to kiss you and I can't right now. Yeah. And then the next day he found out that she had gotten false positive results and that they just messed up on her results. So the whole time we could have fucked, but we couldn't because we thought he had, sorry. This is like the worst. You're censoring every word I'm saying.
Yeah, you're good.
So sorry.
Is there a stigma that you have found by being a stand-up who also does adult films?
Yeah.
In our industry, in comedy.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, most people think that comedy people are so like open about everything, but there's still a lot of judgment. I mean, you mentioned it earlier, just being a woman in general already puts like a negative connotation around being a comedian. Like no one wants to hear a woman tell jokes, and that's a pretty like across the board thing. And then throw in there that I've sucked dick on a camera and people are like, we have no interest in hearing what she has to say, you know?
But we've all done that. I mean, if you're sucking dick and it's not on camera, what's the point?
What is the point?
I mean, and
Yeah.
I've done both. But I just need, like, I want evidence.
Right. For the kids to show them later. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I won't show up to a mic any other way.
Daddy's penis used to be erect the whole way, all of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. I've never heard my daddy's penis. It's almost like a double negative. those cancel out. You ready for daddy's peen? You ready for the tip of the?
I know what you're getting tonight, Mel. Daddy's peen.
Daddy's peen. Daddy's peen or baby's cock.
So, oh, that's even more uncomfortable.
Yeah. Well, that's why it feels weird. What's the weirdest scene you've ever done? You have like, is there one where it was like, "Welcome to Venus," and you know?
Oh yeah, I did some real shady stuff in the beginning when I was really poor.
This
Oh,
set
man.
looks like an alleyway.
I mean, so I've done a movie where I didn't even do it under the name Silvia because it was so
Oh,
like
you went to
embarrassing.
another pseudonym. Damn.
Yeah, I won't even say what it is because you don't want you to find it.
Damn.
But I'm literally crawling around on all fours, like drinking milk out of a saucer, like a cat. Like it was.
Wow.
Yeah. Another one where it was a cannibal porn, which I never actually had sex with anybody, but they put me on a giant plate and like basted me like I was their chicken or turkey or whatever, and like that was the whole movie. I also did a pee porn where I was supposed to pee my pants, but I failed miserably at peeing my pants. It's much harder than you think it is to pee your pants as an adult.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, obviously. It's ridiculous. Who would? It's super tough to do it because you don't do it all the time.
Well,
right?
you've trained yourself to only pee in a bathroom,
Yes.
right? So, or unless you're really drunk. And
Yeah.
I was chugging water and I just couldn't do it. And finally, the solution that we came up with was because you had to pee something, like I had to pee my pants or whatever. So we put pantyhose on me, and then I just went over the toilet like I couldn't get my pantyhose down in time, and just peed the pantyhose into the toilet. That was all I could do. I was like, I got nothing, guys. Like, unless there is a toilet underneath me, pee is not coming out.
You're like a cat. You need to have
Yeah.
a litter box in order to squat.
Yeah, they're like, you
Otherwise-
can't just pee down your leg. I'm like, I am trying. I cannot do it. Like, my mental break.
Such a weird
Yeah.
question. Can you just pee down your leg? Where else did you think it was gonna go? Just up your arm or down your leg. Just pick a direction with your pee.
Yeah, so some weird stuff like that when I was super poor, like just seedy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Did
And
you have
those
to-
were like for no money also, like for a couple $100 I'm doing that. Ooh, that was a rough time of my life.
Phew. Did you have to meow as the
Yeah.
cat?
Oh, for sure. Yeah,
really?
absolutely.
Wow.
Oh, I did Japanese porn once.
Yes.
And they put tentacles in my vagina, and I had to walk around the room with these tentacles like hanging out of my vagina. Also,
Like
when I was poor.
cosmetically.
Nope, they were just like not real octopus tentacles,
okay, yeah.
but that's like what it was like octopuses
Okay, yeah.
tentacles hanging out of my vagina, and they just wanted me to walk around the room with this.
Are you ever
happening.
doing a film and you're like, people are into some weird
Yes,
shit? Like you
all
just
the
lose
time.
respect for civilization. Like
110%.
just like you sick
yeah.
freaking animals.
Yeah, 100%. Wow. I always tell people, because people are like, "Oh, I wish there wasn't as like much step brother." I'm like, it's you guys.
Yeah.
If you're typing into the search bar what
Yeah.
you want to see, and that's why it's still there. We're making what you guys are requesting.
Yeah,
if you
it
would
wouldn't be a
stop
category.
typing it,
Yeah.
right? Stop typing it. We'll stop making it. Like
Yeah.
Cherie DeVille and I talk about it all the time. I'm like, I would love if you would type in woman on soft surface. You know, like, can we just do
Yeah.
something simple where like nobody's hanging from rafters? You know,
Yeah.
like it's simple stuff.
And you get do you get, and I'm sure, and I know you get recognized.
Yeah.
Do you get, do you have a fan interaction that you remember that was so weird or so, have you ever had it get like more than uncomfortable? Have you ever had it get like where it got volatile?
I mean, I've definitely had fans that have overstepped boundaries. I have a fan show up at my house, you know.
Yikes.
So, yeah, like, and got in my gated building,
No.
knocked on my actual front door.
He had a pizza, right?
Yeah.
Silly.
No, but so stuff like that has happened, but I love it. I actually had a fan last night. I was at the Beaumont and I was wasty-facey, just belting fancy.
That is a cool way to
karaoke.
say that.
Yeah.
Wasty-faced.
Wasty-facey.
I'm going to start using that.
And this guy comes up to me outside, and he, trying to be sly, he was like, "You look familiar to me." And I'm drunk, so I have no filter at that point. I'm like, "I look familiar because I do porn," you know? And he's like, "Oh." And then he goes, "You're really popular in my country." And I was like, oh, "Okay, so you did know who I was. You were just trying to like round about it."
He's like, "I'm from Iowa."
Yeah. But I was like, "Oh, where's your country?" And he's like, "Egypt." And I was like, "Oh, I do actually I have a decent following in Egypt."
Really?
You can see your, you know, on Instagram, it gives you all your
Oh, yeah.
statistics and all that stuff. I am huge in Egypt. Big.
Nice.
They like me big over there.
I'm also huge in Egypt.
Yeah, they have no rhythm, so I'm there down for my style.
That's hilarious.
But he was very nice, but he was like, "Oh yeah," and he was kind of just like trying to like hang out, like not like with us, but like in the area all night, and I could tell like he didn't want me to leave before getting a picture, and he like followed me out so he could get a picture, you know, and that kind of stuff. But very nice guy.
Yeah. And all that, like, I love that. I love when like when it's respectful that way. But you've never had like where it's like another guy and his girlfriend or another like.
Not yet.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. I haven't had any like bad in-person interactions.
Yeah.
Other than like fans getting obsessive and, like I said, showing up to my house or stuff like that.
Jeez. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really crazy. So then what's a time what's a time that you feel that you, and maybe we already talked about it, but what's a time that you feel you bet on yourself and it backfired, or a time that it paid off?
Yeah, definitely backfired. I think in Hollywood, I mean, I'm sure you've dealt with this. There's a lot of things where you're like, "Oh, this is going to be like my big thing," and then it completely falls through or never takes off, or, you know, whatever. So for me, that was several times of those, of like thinking I had some movie or something that was going to come out that was mainstream, and I got really excited about it. And the problem is when I get excited, I tell people about things, and I know, especially in Hollywood, you should never tell anybody about something until it's like out. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
So I think a lot of that happened with some big stuff, and then it kind of like came back on me, and it really got me to a point where I was like, I'm never gonna amount to anything, and I'm never gonna tell people about stuff again, you know. And you just get really down on yourself, like it's your fault, you know, this is your failure, when really it's just Hollywood. I mean, half the time you make stuff you know, I have friends who have been in numerous pilots and not a single pilot has ever gotten picked up, you know. So it's stuff like that, and like I think those felt like personal failures to me, and like backfired and kind of sent me into a like, I do definitely still get waves of like, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, what have you done with your life? Like, where are you going to go from here? You know? So just those moments like felt like backfires.
Yeah. What is it that you do to get yourself out of that? Because it sounds like you write a lot. You have your routine. I know going to the gym is a great way to like shake all that stuff off.
Hiking.
I
absolutely love being outside. Like if I can go and spend 3, 4, or 5 hours just out in the wilderness by myself, like that's my jam. Like that's where I just love to be, and I feel like I just reconnect with things. And like, I mean, sometimes I've just been out in the middle of the woods like crying and just like getting things out, you know, or, you know, talking to myself or whatever. That's my recharge, just like being outside and hiking and just getting lost in the woods. Like that's my favorite. Not lost like technically like lost, but like, you know, lost in my head in the woods on a trail.
Yeah. Yes. Lost on a trail.
Yeah.
With a map.
You're right.
Yeah. My phone.
Yes, exactly.
Well, that's awesome. What are we at time-wise, Isaac?
118.
118? Awesome.
Look at us.
And
And with all the bleeps, we're at like 98.
Yeah.
We're still at 118.
Well, I appreciate you coming on today, and I know that I will have you back because I enjoy listening to your journey. There's so many questions that I have just because I love one thing that I love about you is how secure you are from where you've come from. You came from an instability. Yeah. That even predates your corporate days. You know, so. I have tremendous respect for what it is that you've done, and I know you're great. You're always great company around me and Mel I can't thank you enough for coming on to do the pod, and I can't wait to have you back.
Thank you. No, you have no idea how much I appreciate it. So I appreciate your guys' friendship and the work opportunities and all of it. So I just love being a part of it. Love getting to go to your wedding and see your beautiful bride and freeze ourselves off in the cold Vermont weather.
Tiny balls up there.
But they do say rain on your wedding day is like a good sign though. So.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
Tell my to my deposit. Fucking bought a soggy cake. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Isaac, what else do I need to say or do or be?
We'll shoot the intro in the rain.
Hell yeah.
In the rain? You guys gonna go get some rain?
He said shoot the intro and the rant.
Oh,
rant. I do like a little rant before the episode, but hell yeah.
You want to plug any socials?
Oh yeah. Please follow my friend Silvia Saige. It is at Silvia Saige.
At the Silvia Saige on Instagram.
The Silvia Saige, yes.
Yeah.
I follow both just because I can give extra support.
Nice.
Feel free to follow my friend at the Silvia Saige on Instagram. Go check out her stand-up.
Yes.
You have to scroll just a little bit.
A few pages of Google to get through.
When you get to page 9, past the shoe ads.
Yeah. Do you know I've actually tried to fix that? Like I've actively tried, but porn sites buy so much ad space that you just can't you can't outbid them.
Can't beat it.
It's crazy.
Can't beat it. Fucking 500 companies. I don't think Pornhub is a 500 company, but maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know.
But yes, please follow my friend Silvia on all social platforms and check out her comedy, please.
Yeah.
But if you also want, and you find yourself in that place, check out
my podcast.
Her Japanese, yes, her podcast. What is that? What's the name of your podcast?
Sexy, Funny, Raw.
Sexy, Funny, Raw.
Yeah.
In no particular order. Thank you again so much.
Unless you're looking for it.
Yes.
Then it's in an order. Thank you, Drew.
Awesome.
Have you ever